Hey there, welcome back. Get ready for molecular and cellular biology terms G through K. Stay tuned. Welcome to Science is You, a new channel dedicated to making real biotechnology research enjoyable and accessible to everyone. To support this mission, please subscribe and spread the word. Thanks for watching. G. GPCR. GPCR stands for G protein-coupled receptor. Cells are covered in receptors on their surface. These receptors act like mailboxes for different messages, allowing them to receive information from their environment. Once a message is received by the receptor in the form of a molecule, protein, or other external item, the receptor relays that information to the cell, enabling the cell to respond to its environment. G protein-coupled receptors are receptors that change shape after they're activated by a message, which then enables them to interact with G proteins. The G proteins are then activated and can go on to interact with and activate other proteins, which can activate other proteins, sort of like a domino effect. Think of turning on or off a light switch. Once the switch is on, electrical signal flows through the circuit, culminating in the bulb lighting. H. Hybridization. Hybridization describes the process where two strands of DNA or RNA attach to each other. DNA and its copied form, RNA, are made from a series of molecules called bases. In addition to being aligned in a sequence, certain bases can connect to each other, sort of like a magnet. Strands of DNA that are able to connect perfectly to each other are called complementary. This property is often taken advantage of in the lab to determine if specific sequences of DNA or RNA are present in a sample by probing for them with complementary strands. I. Intron. DNA is like a blueprint with the instructions for making proteins, but DNA isn't just one long sentence. It's sectioned off much like a book into words, sentences, paragraphs, and chapters. One of the ways the cell does this is by separating the strand of DNA into sections called introns and exons. Exons are the portion of the DNA that contain the instructional code for making a protein. Introns, on the other hand, generally aren't used for making the protein and are cut out when the cell is reading the DNA. Think of it like paragraphs in a book that are separated by blank space. The blank space doesn't contain words and it appears not to contain any information, but it is still important for our properly reading and understanding the writing. J. Junk DNA. While we're on the subject of introns, let's talk about junk DNA. Junk DNA refers to parts of the DNA that don't appear to code for a protein, hence the name junk. For a long time, introns were thought to be just junk, but cutting an intron out incompletely can actually result in a new protein being formed. Think of it like changing the spacing between paragraphs in a book in such a way that another piece of information is added or removed. Researchers are continually discovering new ways that the cell uses exons and introns to make new proteins and perform different functions. Non-coding DNA makes up a huge part of our genome, over 98%. Research is showing that this non-coding DNA isn't all just junk. Rather, these sequences can change the structure of DNA, helping to regulate which parts of the DNA are read out and translated into proteins, or provide critical places for other proteins that regulate gene activation to attach. Really, junk DNA more accurately describes sections of DNA for which we don't yet fully know why it's there and what it does in the cell. K. Kinase. Kinases play a huge role in controlling cellular functions and activities, including cell division. Kinases are a special type of proteins that transfer a molecular group called phosphate onto other proteins. Adding or removing this phosphate group causes a physical change in the shape of the protein that enables it to interact with other proteins. That was molecular and cellular biology terms G through K. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and stay tuned for the rest of this series on cell vocabulary A through Z. And remember,